Humans invented farming around 12,000 years ago. Civilization came after that. But love is ancient. Your ancestors were getting chased by wolves, sleeping on dirt, and somehow still finding time to fall hopelessly in love. Which honestly explains a lot about humanity. Because apparently, even while surviving the prehistoric apocalypse every single day, people still wanted cuddles. Scientists now believe humans were forming emotional pair bonds long before recorded history. Meaning, prehistoric couples probably flirted, argued, got jealous, broke each other's hearts, and obsessed over each other exactly like we do now. Except instead of getting ghosted, your partner might literally disappear into the forest and never come back. Slightly more stressful dating environment. And that raises a weird question. What did love actually feel like before civilization? Before dating apps? Before marriage? Before texting someone, hey, and then staring at your phone like a Victorian widow? What did humans feel when love existed, but the modern world didn't? So tonight, Freddie has a very weird question. What was it actually like to fall in love 10,000 years ago? The creepy part is, we already know ancient humans were capable of deep emotional attachment because love leaves evidence behind. Archaeologists have discovered prehistoric graves where couples were buried side by side, sometimes literally holding each other. In Italy, scientists found two skeletons buried face to face. People immediately nicknamed them the Lovers of Valdaro, because apparently humans will romanticize literally anything. But the important part is this: somebody cared enough to bury them carefully. Somebody looked at two dead humans and thought, they belong together. And that idea is unbelievably old. For a long time, scientists assumed prehistoric relationships were simple. Basically, caveman brain. Man hunts mammoth. Woman gathers berries. Everybody smells terrible. End of story. But modern anthropology completely destroyed that stereotype. Hunter-gatherer societies were emotionally complicated. People formed long-term bonds. They shared food, raised children together, grieved for lost partners. Some probably cheated too because humans have apparently always enjoyed creating emotional disasters for themselves. And weirdly, love may have been even more important back then than it is now. Today, if your relationship fails, it's emotionally devastating. 10,000 years ago, it could literally kill you. Survival depended on cooperation. Raising children required enormous effort because human babies are ridiculously useless compared to other animals. A baby deer stands up in like 20 minutes. Human babies can't even hold their own head correctly. Evolution basically looked at humans and said, "Good luck, idiots." So humans adapted by becoming intensely social and emotionally attached to each other. Scientists think chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin played a huge role in ancient bonding exactly like they do today. Meaning prehistoric humans probably experienced the same obsessive thoughts modern people get while falling in love. That person constantly invading your brain for no reason. Ancient humans had that too. Imagine trying to hunt while your brain keeps replaying the way someone smiled at you near the fire last night. Humanity really peaked early with emotional distraction, and attraction back then was probably very different from modern dating standards. There were no luxury cars, no followers, no gym selfies taken with the expression of a depressed raccoon. Attraction was tied much more closely to survival. Could this person help protect the group? Could they find food? Could they stay calm during danger? Confidence was attractive because panic could get everyone killed. Humor was probably attractive too because humans use humor to reduce stress, and prehistoric life was basically one long stress episode interrupted by occasional berries. But here's where things get weird. Scientists believe human love became powerful partly because humans discovered something terrifying: death. Humans aren't the only animals that bond emotionally, but we are one of the few species fully aware that everyone we love will eventually die. Imagine loving someone while constantly living beside danger, disease, predators, starvation, harsh winters. Ancient humans probably lost partners constantly, which may have made love feel even more intense because nothing was guaranteed. And honestly, that changes the way you imagine prehistoric people. We picture them as primitive because they didn't have technology. But emotionally, they were probably extremely similar to us. Somewhere 10,000 years ago, a human being sat awake at night terrified of losing someone they loved. Somebody got jealous. Somebody got rejected. Somebody embarrassingly tried to impress another person and failed horribly. Human awkwardness is probably older than agriculture. There's even evidence prehistoric humans decorated themselves partly for attraction: shell necklaces, beads, pigments, tattoos, feathers. Humans have always tried to look attractive, which means some Ice Age guy absolutely spent 2 hours arranging feathers thinking, this is gonna work. And honestly, Respect. Humanity invented drip immediately after inventing survival. But unlike modern relationships, prehistoric love wasn't isolated from community. You didn't disappear into an apartment together and order food through an app while ignoring sunlight for 3 days. Most hunter gatherers lived in small tribes where everybody knew everybody. Your relationship existed publicly. Arguments existed publicly too, which honestly sounds horrifying. Imagine your entire tribe hearing you lose an argument beside the fire because you forgot to gather water. No thanks. And children changed everything. Human childhood is absurdly long compared to most animals. Parents had to cooperate for years. Grandparents helped too. Anthropologists even think human civilization partially succeeded because older humans stayed alive long enough to help raise grandchildren. Your grandma may literally be one of humanity's greatest evolutionary strategies. Which is incredible because most grandmas today are just forwarding terrifying Facebook conspiracy posts. But love wasn't always peaceful. Jealousy likely existed for the same evolutionary reasons it exists now. Humans fear losing emotional bonds. We fear abandonment. Rejection activates the same brain regions as physical pain, which means heartbreak is not metaphorically painful. Your brain literally processes it like injury. Ancient humans felt that too. Somewhere in prehistory, somebody definitely stared into a fire dramatically after a breakup thinking, it's over. Humanity has always been dramatic. And maybe that's why love survived for so long, because despite everything brutal about ancient life, humans kept choosing emotional connection anyway. They kept singing, touching, grieving, protecting, sacrificing. Even during starvation and violence and freezing winters, people still fell in love. Which is honestly kind of beautiful. Modern humans sometimes act like emotions are weaknesses. Ancient humans understood the opposite. Emotional bonds were survival. Love kept people together long enough to survive impossible environments. Caring about each other helped humans outcompete stronger animals. We weren't the fastest species, or strongest, or deadliest. We became powerful because we cooperated better than almost anything else on Earth, which means civilization itself may partially exist because humans loved each other enough to stay together. And honestly, that's insane. Because every city, every country, every empire, every piece of technology traces back to ancient humans sitting beside fires forming emotional bonds in the dark. Love helped build civilization before civilization even existed. And maybe that's why modern dating feels so strange sometimes. Our brains evolved for tiny tribes, close relationships, physical presence, and deep social connection. Not infinite scrolling through strangers while pretending not to care emotionally. Ancient humans would look at Tinder and immediately assume society had collapsed. But despite all the changes, the weirdest part is this. If you could somehow meet two humans from 10,000 years ago who were deeply in love, you would probably recognize it instantly. The nervous smiles, the staring, the fear of losing each other, the comfort of sitting silently beside someone you trust. Humans changed the world completely, but emotionally we're still carrying the same ancient brain around inside our skull, which means love isn't modern. It isn't civilized. It isn't something humans invented recently. Love is prehistoric, older than cities, older than writing, older than history itself. And somewhere thousands of years ago, beside a fire under a sky untouched by artificial light, two humans looked at each other and felt something so familiar that modern people would still understand it instantly, which is either incredibly beautiful or proof humanity has been emotionally unstable for a very, very long time. And if Freddy should answer another weird question like this one, leave it in the comments. Your question might become the next video.